This is not about politics. This is about psychology, the psychology of leadership, actually. So, I have a master's degree in human resources and organizational psychology. During that time, you learn a lot about different types of leaders. You've got authoritative leaders, you've got transformational leaders, you've got charismatic leaders, you've also got narcissistic leaders, which is a real thing. Now, narcissism, like everything related to human beings, is on a spectrum. And there's good narcissism, which gives you a lot of self confidence and charisma. A lot of people are attracted to that. But narcissism can also very often go off onto the dark side, which is destructive narcissism. And that is pretty ugly. So, some of the characteristics of destructive narcissism. Number one, a strong desire to be admired. Narcissists can draw a crowd, it's what they do. But for them, it's all about drawing the crowd, even if that means putting that crowd at risk. Number two, an inability to listen. Narcissists are generally born with some grandiose ideas of their own competencies. So, the idea of having a team in which everybody is respected for and contributes their own competencies doesn't really exist. It's borderline dictatorship. You either toe the party line or you're out. The third one is a lack of consistency. When narcissism turns destructive, you get a leader that has no values, is fickle, gets bored easily, and changes course at the drop of a hat. And the final and most important characteristic of narcissistic leadership is they're only out for themselves. Their own agenda is their number one priority, and they will harm whoever's in their way, friend, family, foe, you name it. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump is the embodiment of a destructive narcissistic leader. He doesn't care for your Christian values. He doesn't care for your white supremacy. Hell, he probably doesn't even hate Mexico that much. It's what narcissists do. They lie, they manipulate you, they prey on your fears. They use and abuse you with one hand on the Bible, with no remorse. Narcissists don't have integrity or a value system. They don't need them. That's why they make such great salesmen. And that's what Donald Trump is. He's a salesman. He will say anything to your face just to close the deal. No offense to salespeople. A study published in the Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin revealed that when a group is without a leader, a narcissist is likely to take charge. And I get it. There are many in this country that don't feel spoken for. I'm a brown woman. I mean, white men at this point are craving for help. Is this the man that you think is going to speak for your needs and values? Let's take COVID as an example. And you may or may not believe in COVID, right? The million people around the world who have died of it don't have that luxury. But let's say for the sake of argument, you're on the fence. But if you thought that anything you did could put people around you at harm, wouldn't you take the required measures to prevent that? Just his behavior in the last couple of weeks has been so indicative of somebody who doesn't care about anybody but himself. He's more interested in portraying strength than in doing with something that strong people actually do, which is protecting people weaker than you, protecting others. Oh, but her emails. Save it. Hillary Clinton is not running for president. He is. And everything he throws out there is a distraction technique. And we, like little puppies, woo, there's the ball, there we go, with the media leading the way. He does that because, frankly, he doesn't think much of us. And he thinks we'll fall for it every single time. And often we do. He's good at it. Of course he is. He comes from reality TV. That's all that reality TV is, a distraction. So let's be clear that Donald Trump will do or say whatever he needs to win this election. If he thought the LGBTQ plus community was going to help him get the votes, he would be waving a pride flag and walking around the Castro in San Francisco in a leopard skin thong. Okay, there's a vision nobody wants or needs. This is not about left or right. I don't like most politicians. I don't like paying a lot of taxes. When I was naturalized into this country, it was under George W. And I didn't have any political affiliations, to be honest. But the one thing I understood was that this is a country that takes its democracy very seriously. Do you think the turnover and the flux in the White House over the last 4 years is normal? In a for-profit world, that CEO would be kicked out 5 times over by the board because it signals instability and it signals gross mismanagement, which is what's happening to this country at this moment. He's basically a dictator and he wants to hire people that will do exactly what he says. And what happens to most of those people is when their conscience get the better of them, they're out. And he's got your number, preying on your fears. He pulls you into his house of tricks with no remorse. But don't feel bad. It's what narcissists are like made to do. That's why they're so powerful. So how do you break the cycle? You wake up and you realize that this man is not going to give you what you need. He doesn't care what you need. America, don't vote for somebody that will run you into the ground for his own short-term gain. And it is short-term. For him, it's 4, God forbid, 8 years. And then he goes on and, signs multi-million dollar book deals because he was president of the United States once. The damage that he does, however, will be long-term. It will be felt by generations to come. And you know who supports narcissists? Other narcissists. The rest of the world is rooting for you. No decent person in the world is happy for the state that America is in today. When psychologists go deep into the psyche of narcissists, they find deep childhood trauma that is responsible for their lack of self-esteem, for their lack of empathy, for the way they prey on people's weaknesses. So let's us, as a compassionate, honest, and decent nation, on November 3rd, wish him well and vote him out.